I'm sure you have your favorite pro or top level pro player that make these plays that absolutely blow your mind. What you might not know is that most of these plays are simply a culmination of a bunch of small tendencies and habits they've built up over time. What's up guys, my name is Valued, and today we're going to go over 5 tendencies that Apex Predator players have that you did not know about. With that being said, let's get right into it. At the core of every Apex Predator player's game is a strong mentality and mindset, with a big focus on the future in their games. Whether they're in a fight or making a rotation, they're always thinking ahead and making decisions with 3 steps ahead in mind. With how fast Apex plays and the raw amount of decisions you have to make in a given game, this is one of the biggest factors that separates players. It can be really tough to be thinking ahead while you're fighting for your life in a game, but always having a plan and adjusting that plan with every shred of info you get is the key to becoming the best. For these players, they've gone through so many reps that they've almost seen every situation or something similar. But this hasn't always been the case. Every single one of these players you love to watch at one point in time never played a game of Apex. They had never been in a single fight, or made a single rotation, or even shot a single gun. However, they came to the game with a solid mindset for improvement, learned the game's fundamentals, and then got to work mastering their craft. This is something I think a lot of players forget as they see Hal popping off or Asu doing some insane movement. These guys both started at square one just like you. Instead of looking at these players and thinking, that could never be me, know that they used to look something like you. While they may have mechanical skill or high-level gaming knowledge that transferred over from other games, this premise still holds true for their past as well. While our jaws may drop a little bit watching some of their plays, make sure you're watching closely and learning from them. Listen to what Hal's talking about and why his comms to his teammates are what they are. Watch Asu's movement and dissect why he's doing what he's doing. What you're seeing at first glance is often just a fraction of what actually goes into making these plays happen, and doing your best to get the full picture behind their plays will help you replicate them in your own gameplay. These underlying approaches and mentalities to how they play and think about the game are the intangibles that make Pred players different from a Diamond or Masters player. On the flip side, a lot of the plays made by top players are actually really tough to pull off. Seeing an opportunity or planning ahead is one thing, actually pulling off your plan is a whole nother thing. While you can definitely make some amazing plays with very limited mechanics in the game, being comfortable to do everything the game allows you to do is gonna go a long way. There are plenty of situations in game where a tab strafe could really be strong, or a well-timed wall bounce might make the difference. I mean, even more simple mechanics like, hitting your shots is something we all struggle with from time to time. Predator players have honed in their mechanics to a T, and they've continued to hone them every day while they're grinding. It's about more than just being able to hit a mean tap strafe in the firing range. It's all about knowing when the best time to use those mechanics are and then actually performing them without needing to think about it. These advanced things we're talking about are second nature to top players as they use these things in every game they play. And since they're so comfortable in the game, they don't really have to think about any of this anymore. Instead of thinking, could a tap strafe be good here, they automatically just do the mechanic if it works in the situation. This auto response shaves precious time off your plays, and the lack of thought required to make these plays happen keeps their mind on those few steps ahead that I discussed. This level of mechanical comfort is only possible if you're constantly understanding the plays you're looking to make and also have the reps under your belt practicing the mechanics required to make it happen. And guys, if you struggle with finding the best play to make or have another specific aspect of your game that you're looking to improve, be sure to head over to ProGuides.com. There's no better way to work on a certain part of your game or identify the parts of your game that need improvement than a coaching session. It can be really tough to see all those little things that a Pred player may be doing if they were in your shoes, but even one coaching session with a top player can really open your eyes to all those possibilities. So if you're ready to take your game to the next level, make sure to check out the top link in the description below. Speaking of having the reps under your belt, while these first couple of tendencies we've discussed are a huge part of Predator players' success, they wouldn't mean much if these players weren't also grinding. Time does play a role in how good you are. If you're a newer player, you're naturally going to improve from just playing more. But there are plenty of players who have as much time played as some of the best players in the world, and they find themselves stuck in gold. So what makes them different? It's their approach to these reps. Rather than just blindly hitting the next game option, most Predator players are constantly analyzing their games, trying to think of alternative plays they could have made in a loss or what contributed to them getting a win. Combine this with the fact that they also have more time played than a lot of players, and you have a perfect recipe for an absolute demon in the game. Make sure you're going into every single game with a clear head and the willingness to improve. No matter what you need to work on, whether it's movement, aim, decision making, or anything in between, the reps mean very little if you aren't actually focused on improving. But if you stay self-critical while also staying positive and put in the time, you will see massive improvements. We've been talking a lot about the intangibles that help top-level players perform, but what about some specific in-game stuff that can help you right now? Well, one of the biggest ones that I use in my own gameplay is called deathballing. The death ball refers to your team being a very cohesive unit and playing very nearby each other the entire game. While it can be really valuable to play an off angle from your squad, a lot of times in a higher level lobby, teams will notice this and look to single you out or single out your other teammates before you can regroup. To do this, they often will deathball, pushing aggressively as possible and mowing down enemies with team shots. Now, it sounds simple in premise, but actually getting the timing of this down can be tough, as it often needs to be done with very little communication. You'll often see this type of push coordinated in these pred lobbies just by a simple call being made. When someone says push this guy or some other aggressive call, teams will automatically fall into a deathball formation, each having clear forward lines of sight as you quickly cover ground as a unit. Not being too far behind or ahead of your team is a must here, and understanding who your team's targeting to make sure you're getting a fast down is important when making risky plays like this. You can take this mentality into your own games no matter what elo you're in. The next time you have teammates committing to a fight, instead of keeping that high ground and trying to give them help from afar, commit fully to the fight with them and help them get those quick knocks. Not only will this help you guys stay on the same page, but you'll also clean up your fights faster and be prepared for that third party that's probably on their way. And guys, for our final thing I want to mention in this video that you need to pick up from Predator players is their confidence. Now, while you don't want to be arrogant, knowing that you do have the ability to pull off the plays that you're looking to do, regardless of who is on that enemy squad, is a must if you're going to become the best. When you're in a lobby with some of the best players in the world, that little bit of hesitation or lack of confidence in a fight will cost you games. If you're approaching the game in a constructive way, keeping your mindset positive and focused on the future, as well as putting in the reps needed to hone your skills, then you're going to become a great player. Having this confidence and realizing you need to at least feel like the best player in every lobby is the key to getting out of your own head and making the plays your team needs you to get the dub. Honestly guys, this tip right here is probably the most important thing I've said all video. You could try to put everything we discussed today into practice and have a great time playing the game. But if you don't honestly believe that you have the ability to get better and hit whatever milestone you're aiming for is, then you simply might not get there. Apex, just like any other competitive endeavor, is a mental game, and oftentimes you will be your worst enemy. So try to get out of your own way and build up that confidence so you can become the best player that you can be. Alright guys, this video right here, if you actually take it in and use these tips in your game, you will see massive improvements. But remember guys, this is a process. Most of the things we talked about today helped these top players to improve to where they are now, but it didn't happen overnight. I know if you keep a good mentality and you're truly putting in the games that you can get as good as you want to. Let me know in the comments below what your next goals in Apex are. And anyway guys, as always, it's been your boy Valued, and I'll see you guys in the next one.